Welcome, travelers, to Adventures in Security. In this video, we explore indicators of attack and indicators of compromise, two crucial components of incident detection and management. You can download the video script from the link below. In this lesson, we're going to clear up two terms you'll hear constantly in security operations: indicators of compromise, or IoCs, and indicators of attack, or IoAs. Think of them as two kinds of clues. IoCs are the digital evidence that something bad already happened, breadcrumbs left behind after compromise. IoAs are the behaviors that suggest an attack is underway or about to succeed, more like catching the burglar while they're still in the house. By the end of this video, you should be able to 1. Define IoCs and IoAs. 2. Explain how they differ. 3. List practical examples of each. And 4. Describe how responders use them to detect, scope, contain, and recover from incidents. One quick note. All example domains, IPs, and hashes in this lesson are fictional or documentation only, so you can focus on the concepts safely. Let's jump in. To understand why indicators matter, we need to place them inside the incident response lifecycle. Modern incident response isn't just clean up after a breach. It's a repeatable process tied to risk management: prepare, detect, respond, recover, and then improve. NIST Incident Response Guidance emphasizes that good detection and response reduce both the number and the impact of incidents, and that incident response should be integrated across broader cybersecurity risk management activities, not treated as a separate, last-minute scramble. Indicators are what make this process measurable and actionable. They help answer fast questions like, is this real? How bad is it? Where else did it spread? And what should we block or isolate right now? In other words, indicators turn raw telemetry, logs, alerts, network flows, endpoint events into decisions. As we go forward, keep a simple mental model. IoAs tend to help you detect earlier, and IoCs tend to help you confirm and scope deeper. In a mature program, you use both continuously. Let's define indicators of compromise, IoCs. An IoC is evidence that a system or environment may have been breached. The key word is evidence, something you can point to in logs or artifacts that supports the claim a compromise occurred. Common IoC categories include network artifacts, connections to known malicious IPs or domains, unusual outbound traffic patterns, suspicious URLs. Host artifacts, a new or modified executable, a persistence mechanism like an unexpected scheduled task, or a suspicious registry change. It's identity and cloud artifacts, impossible travel logins, anomalous token use, or new privileged accounts. Email artifacts, malicious sender infrastructure, attachment hashes, or lookalike domains. IoCs are concrete and easy to share and block. However, many IoCs are low on the pyramid of pain. Attackers can rotate hashes, IPs, and domains quickly, so IoCs can go stale unless they're refreshed and contextualized. Now, indicators of attack, IoAs. If IoCs are evidence of compromise, IoAs are evidence of hostile behavior. IoAs focus on what the attacker is doing, the tactics and techniques, often while the attack is still in progress. An IoA is usually behavioral and contextual. It might describe a suspicious sequence like a document process spawning a scripting engine, followed by credential access attempts, followed by a new remote service creation. None of those events alone proves compromise, but together they strongly indicate an active intrusion. Examples of IoAs include unusual parent/child process chains. For example, an Office document spawning a command interpreter. Scripting activity with signs of obfuscation, encoded or heavily shortened commands. Rapid, repeated authentication failures, followed by success, especially from a new location. a host scanning many internal systems, or attempting many remote connections in a short time window. IoAs are harder for adversaries to evade because they represent behaviors and TTPs. However, they often require richer telemetry, correlation, and tuning to manage false positives. Let's compare them side by side. As to time frame, IoAs are during. They help you spot an attack as it unfolds. IOCs are often after. They confirm compromise and help reconstruct what happened. As to scope, IOCs are frequently atomic artifacts, hashes, IPs, domains, while IoAs tend to be behavioral patterns or sequences. This connects to David Bianco's pyramid of pain. Indicators like hashes and IPs are typically easier for attackers to change. Higher-level indicators like host artifacts, tools, and especially TTPs create more pain for the attacker because changing them costs time, money, and capability. So which is better? Neither. The strongest programs combine them. Use IoAs to detect earlier and contain faster. Use IOCs to validate scope and hunt for related activity across the environment. Feed confirmed IOCs and learned IoAs back into detections, so the next incident is faster to catch. Think of IoAs as early warning and IOCs as forensic proof, and you need both in incident response. How do teams actually identify and manage these indicators? First, telemetry. IOCs and IoAs come from data. Endpoint detection and response, EDR logs. Network telemetry, NDR/IDS. Identity logs, email security logs, and cloud audit trails, usually aggregated in a SIEM. Second, analytics. For IOCs, you match known bad artifacts, hashes, domains, IPs, registry keys. For IoAs, you build detections for behaviors, often mapped to MITRE attack techniques, so you know what attacker behavior you're covering. Third, threat intelligence and sharing. Organizations exchange indicator data using standards like STIX, a language for expressing threat and observable information, and TAXII, a protocol for sharing that information. This matters because good indicators come with context, confidence, time window, and relationships, not just a raw IP address. Finally, detection content. Teams codify IOCs and IoAs into rules, like portable SIM detections, for example Sigma, and file or malware pattern rules, for example Yara, and then test, tune, and version them over time. In short, collect data, add context, detect behaviors, and continuously refine. Now let's connect indicators directly to incident response work. During triage, IoAs often trigger the first alert. Something is happening right now. Responders use those behaviors to decide whether to isolate a host, disable an account, or block a process quickly. During investigation and scoping, IOCs become extremely valuable. Once you confirm a malicious file, domain, or persistence artifact, you can search the enterprise for the same indicator to find other impacted hosts. That's how you move from one alert to the full blast radius. During containment and eradication, indicators guide actions. Block known malicious domains, quarantine files with known hashes, remove specific scheduled tasks, reset accounts tied to suspicious authentication artifacts, and close the exploited entry point. During recovery and improvement, indicators become lessons learned. The best teams turn incident findings into new detections. The IOCs you observed become retro hunt queries and block lists, and the IoAs you observed become stronger behavioral detections for the future. In other words, indicators are the thread that connects detection, response, and continuous improvement. Let's walk through a short example to see both kinds of indicators together. Stage 1, phishing arrives. IoA. An unusual email pattern, unexpected attachment, first-time sender, or suspicious reply to behavior. EOC. the attachment's hash or the sender's lookalike domain. Stage 2. Execution on the endpoint. IoA. An Office document spawning a scripting engine and then creating a new process in a temporary directory. IoC. A newly dropped executable at a specific path plus its hash. Stage 3. Command and control. IoA. Periodic outbound connections with consistent timing to an uncommon destination. IoC. DNS queries for sync-service.example and traffic to 198.5, 1.100.25. Stage 4. Persistence and lateral movement. IoA. New service creation or abnormal remote admin activity. IoC. A specific scheduled task name or registry run key value. How does this help response? IoAs tell you what to stop immediately, like isolating the host and disabling a compromised account. IOCs let you search everywhere for the same artifacts to find other machines and confirm you've removed the attacker's foothold. Before we wrap up, here are best practices that make indicators usable in the real world. Add context. A good indicator includes what it means, how confident you are, and when it was last seen. Without context, teams either ignore it or overreact. Manage time. Many IOCs should expire or be reevaluated because attackers rotate infrastructure, track first seen and last seen, and retire indicators that no longer add value. Prefer higher value detections. Use the pyramid of pain idea. Combine low-level IOCs with higher-level behaviors and TTP-focused IoAs. Correlate, don't isolate. Single indicators can be noisy. Combine multiple weak signals into one strong story, process plus network plus identity, for example. Operationalize. Turn indicators into repeatable detections and response actions and test them. If a rule fires constantly, tune it. If it never fires, validate that you have the right telemetry. If you do these 5 things, indicators stop being a random list and become a working incident response system. That's it for this video. If you learned anything, please remember to give us a thumbs up and subscribe. And until next time, be careful what you click.